if you're ready, I'll go ahead and talk about a prompt, and maybe that'll get some more ideas going that will move us along our journey. Oh, I'm so I am so moved. Well, one thing that came to me as I was preparing, this was just sort of, just came up within the last, 24 hours, less than 24 hours, and look at this beautiful process that we've put together to show up and be in each other's spaces in our consciousness. And there is a saying, I'm sure many of you have heard this, that we cannot solve a problem at the same level it was created at. And for this particular situation that we're facing, I want to take a little bit further. We cannot grow or even see an issue and the conditions that are surrounding us if we remain at that same level as the condition and the consciousness that it creates. And that's what moved me so much in that meditation, is that it moved us from the consciousness of the condition to the consciousness of love, and that's what counteracts the condition. So that was just beautiful. And here's here's an example of what I'm trying to say. Imagine being submerged in a sea of despair, possibly, an ocean of negativity or sickness, wrongdoing. That which we see in the outer world, we're walking around in that. And how do we get out of that sea, that level of consciousness? Well, one way is to release the weight. We all know that thoughts are things, at least that's what Ernest Holmes says. Thoughts are things. So therefore, thoughts have weight, they have mass, they have energy, whether it be particle or wave. I guess that's still in debate. But think about cutting the line that's holding that anchor and let it just sink down to the very bottom of the depths of the sea and feel your weight, your lightness, your consciousness just float. So release the weight of thoughts that tend to circulate around at a level of unconsciousness or race consciousness. I have a little bit of a story. Back in my early 20s, maybe I was my late teens, but my brother took me scuba diving in a small little lake in Michigan. We were living in Benton Harbor at the time, so it was somewhere over in that part of the state. But he wanted to do this little adventure. Let's try scuba diving. And so here we are, we're in the middle of the lake, we're hanging onto an inner tube. We've got the tanks on, the flippers, the buoyancy compensator, the weight belt, the respirator, or the air thing. And yeah, I'm comfortable in the water, so I'm doing okay. And we've mentally gone through the steps, and I let go of the inner tube, and I immediately sink. I forgot to put my um, respirator on first. The weight belt that I had on was just made me go right down. And so I'm floundering, trying to go against the weight belt, trying to get my head up above water so I could get the air mouthpiece in. And luckily he was there. My brother was there, and he saved me, pushed me toward the inner tube. But what we have to do is put on our consciousness, put on the air respirator of consciousness before we go out into the world, before we face the challenges. We've got to align ourselves and activate that consciousness so that the weight belt doesn't take us down or release the weight belt. And just one other example, and then I'll turn it over to people to maybe so that they can share some similar experiences they're going through. So instead of being in water, what if you're on the edge of an airplane and you're ready to jump out? You've got the parachute pack on your back, and I've never done this before, but if you're jumping out, you don't release the parachute quite yet, but it's packed, it's a little bit dense, it's on your back, it's adding to your body weight, and you are sinking towards earth. And you can control that by simply pulling the ripcord, and then the weight on the back in the pack opens up and it transforms into a flotation device. Your consciousness helps you float through these conditions. And that was another picture that I had in mind of this phenomenon. Not staying in the level of the consciousness, at the level of the problem, but bringing to it our conjoined, our high consciousness. So that was my first foray at a little talk. So thank you for being so patient. And but does anybody have any comments or questions or other stories to tell? Well, I have another quick little ditty about releasing the weight, which may spark some more conversation, because we carry a weight around us in our pockets, in our proverbial pockets. We've got rocks of thoughts and things that we carry around with us, thoughts that may need to be released. And if you're feeling weighted down, check your pockets to see what kind of rocks. I know one rock is that I always get everything that ever comes around. I get sick so easily. I get every germ, that ever comes into the office or the classroom. Well, take that rock and toss it out. That is not a consciousness. That is not the truth. It is just a belief. And time to get rid of that rock. Feel yourself lighten up. A rock that I think our economy, the way the stock market went all topsy-turvy. A lot of people are getting fearful because of lost jobs, lost revenue, lost, money circulating. And it is scary. And but it's a rock. We don't know what that could be. But let's release that rock, throw it away, and get lighter about we view the economy or our abundance. And just take some time to examine the rocks in your pocket and see if there's any that you are ready to throw away, and start to feel lighter in the process. Any comments? Any rocks that you want to share and throw away? We will support you in it. Well, there is this really neat saying that I think could apply to our consciousness, and it goes like this: you don't have a soul, you are a soul. What you have is a body. So we have this physical beingness, but we are a soul. And that I think is just a real common default mechanism that we have as humans, that we don't realize how powerful we are, and that we are not just human. We are unlimited. And the more we practice that present moment, that which Layla sang about, we can call upon these strengths and this peace, and step out of our human limitations, and augment change too. The human constructs that I think have been really showing up a lot in our in the last week, in all the news, is government agencies and things that have been developed by human minds, and they appear to be limited, or they have made mistakes, or they have got controls and rules and regulations. Whereas one thing that Science of Mind teaches is that when we change our thinking, we can change our lives. But can you imagine what happens when we all change our thinking, when we all get our minds out of the human limitations that seem to be playing out right now, and accessing and acknowledging and helping to proliferate the idea that there is greater good, greater potentiality, greater possibilities that can be made by things that we're doing right now. Stepping out of the human condition, stepping into our connection with the greater good. And that that is just something I wanted to throw out there, is how can we augment and expand and increase the the this moment of change, this opportunity of change that is unfolding right before our eyes. Just going back to the original premise is that, getting, lightening our load, lighting our thought energy, and moving about in the world with less burdens. And one of those strategies is to share the journey, making, carrying a load with someone else. And that brings up a little story. I was moving a mattress up the stairs. Ray was helping me and trying to get a big old double queen size mattress up a staircase that had to make a turn, on the landing. And I tell you, we broke down laughing so many times. I mean, it was literally a physically heavy, cumbersome mass thing, concrete object. And it turned out to be fun, just because just the Lucille Ball moment that I thought it was, just giggled our way through that. But we have this awesome center, this awesome family where we share this journey and this challenge. And this is also a great opportunity. Many people have mentioned it, but having more time to talk and face chat with people, and maybe even reaching out to strangers, people that we wouldn't normally um, uh, think about connecting with, making a call to our neighbor. We don't know what their health situation may be, but just saying hello to somebody out of the clear blue is always a surprise. It's always a great gift. And giving thanks to and recognizing the amazing effort and gifts that our healthcare workers are providing. Um, Caregivers, their burdens are more than just their own. They are caregiving for other members. Teachers, parents now who've got extra kids at home, and they're having to redesign their whole life, for several weeks now. So I propose this to you. Where can you reach out to bring a smile or a laughter, or just good job, it'll soon be over, let's plan a coffee date for a month in advance. But this is a time to redefine our ability to connect, and cyberspace helps. I have a part of my family, my son and grandson live in Hawaii, and they're now 6 hours different. And so my grandson just began catching the bus to go to his kindergarten. And I am so blessed to get that phone call. It's like at around noon my time, but my grandson's getting on the bus, and it is so exciting to see that uh, that experience, that joy and love that he's having, and I get to be a part of it. That's what this new technology is giving us.